Hello, and we're live. There we are. Let me see. All right, I got really good sound. Hello, everybody. We're just doing a little sound check right before we go live here.
It's the middle of the week, Wednesday night. All right. Hello, everybody. Check one, check one, check. You got a bunch of checks here. That's Serge. That's Serge saying check one, check one. He's mocking us. He's mocking us. It's good mocking. You missed. Where are you, brother? You are at the rink getting that good correspondence down for in a couple of days.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sound check is awesome. We're doing good.
For in a couple of days. Oh, yeah. Yep.
There's a pretty good delay, dude. We could do like phone calls and then bleep people and whatever else, which we are going to do soon.
For a couple of days.
There's a pretty good delay, dude. We could do like phone calls and then bleep people and whatever else. Sorry, we're just testing out the new setup here. All right. Let's stop this. Pay attention to what we're going. All right, so what's going on today, everybody? Welcome to Redmond Wrap Up with Uncle Tony.
Yes.
Where we have a lot of opinion and little fact. And that's a fact.
That's a fact.
So today we have quite a bit of stuff. Well, I don't know. Well, we got some stuff. We always got some stuff. And if we don't have stuff, well, we'll leave it up to the callers to give us some stuff. As we said before, if you guys want us to discuss something, let us know in the comments below. In the down there. Let us know. We'll take your questions and we'll answer them on the next. What do you call this? Podcast? This isn't a podcast. It's a video cast. It's, it's a podcast. It's a vlog. Yeah, on the next vlog, the next video. So some stuff going on in the league. Hockey still going on. My Red Wings still aren't going to the playoffs yet again.
Rangers had a big win-win last night. They lost against the Flyers. And we want that because we want to lose.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't want them to win.
Right. And it was a 1-0 loss. So that means that the King played great. So that's a win-win.
True.
He gave up only one goal.
You know who sucks is not the Red Wings, but their ex-coach. That's who sucks. It's over in freaking Maple Leaf now. Anyway.
That team got stronger.
So, funny you should say that we're talking about playoffs, right? So I have a question.
Playoffs?
So we have playoffs. So some teams are making it, some teams are not. So if you have a tie at the playoff mark, right? So the two teams are battling it out. And say there's a tie, they're equal records. What is the...
I think it's first head-to-head, then conference. The hockey guru's watching, he would know.
Yeah. So what is it? Do they go by points? I think they do, right? They'll knock it down to who's got more points forwarded or less goals allowed. This is the second thing? No? Well, what is it? Row.
No.
So I think that's what they do. The reason I'm asking is, does it matter, like going down, like with you guys, you're out of the playoffs.
Yep.
Now say, who is it, the Devils? Who do you, no, the Islanders, right?
They're in first place.
No, who do you guys hate though? What's your?
The Islanders.
The Islanders.
Yep.
So say the Islanders are our shootout wins don't count, overtime wins, regulation overtime wins. Does the goals count though, Serge?
Goals for and against?
Yeah. Is it just the wins? Well, they're tied on wins. Regular season, they're tied with regular season wins. What's the next marker? So say you guys are playing whatever team. Say the Islanders are in first, and they're battling for home field advantage.
Right.
Whoever's in second place, say they're neck to neck, and you're playing the New York's playing the backup team, the second place team.
Playing the Devils.
And let's say they're like, whatever. We don't want them to have home field advantage. We hate them. We're gonna tank.
Happens all the time.
They lose the game 6-0, 6-1 maybe to save a little face. So now they lose home field advantage. Is that really a big deal? Not losing the home field advantage, the fact that the other team did that by losing by so many points.
It happens all the time. It happens all the time when you're playing for next year's draft pick.
Right, right.
You know, so you have that residual. It happens all the time. So, like in baseball, I hate when they bring up the players, the minor league players in September.
Yeah.
So you're out of it. You're playing those guys.
Yeah.
And you're in battling for a playoff spot with that other team, and you're playing these rookies, these, AAA, cup of coffee major. You're throwing the game, basically.
Why not put them in at the beginning of the season?
That's what I would do, because you have all that time to make it up.
Yeah.
But
and then you get a little run. You see which one needs more developing. You send them back down to the leagues, and you bring them back up. Which, by the way, Fresno Grizzlies apparently are having a whole overhaul of their uniforms and everything. So that should be interesting.
Yep. That'll be good.
Matches. So, the reason I asked, did Serge ever answer the question? I forgot to look. Anyway, so the reason I asked is, if that's not really it, if that happens already. Sorry, everyone. And say you're not the team that's battling for that last spot, right? I was reading a paper. There's an author called Malcolm Gladwell. You may know who he is. He's the guy that came up with the 10,000 hours of practice to get to get you to professional, or actually not just professional, but to get you to be an expert in any field, right? You need 10,000 hours of practice. If you're a welder, you need 10,000 hours of welding. You need
it makes a lot of sense.
Right. It's repetition, right? Muscle memory, et cetera, et cetera. Although I think genetics are a huge portion of that. You get somebody who's not genetically inclined to be a good athlete, they can do 100,000 hours or something. They may be good at it, but they're not going to be majorly good at it.
Absolutely.
Right? So there's a study done by a guy by the Asness. Give me that paper over there. It's Carl Asness.
This paper you're going to love, Serge.
Clifford Asness. He is the co-founder of AQR, a capital management company, and he is a billionaire. This guy is a mathematical genius, like Fields Medal kind of Goodwill Hunting kind of math, right? That nobody understands but them. They totally geek out. And it just so happens the guy likes
ballet with chalk.
Yeah, just so happens the guy likes hockey.
Smart guy.
So he did a paper, and the name of the paper is "Pulling the Goalie: Hockey and Investment Implications," and it's co-authored by Aaron Brown, and it talks about pulling the goalie and why they pull the goalie at 1 minute, right? And how that really is not the optimal time to do it, statistically.
And we were talking a little bit off camera. This is a hypothesis that you have had for a while.
Yeah, all right. I hated getting pulled. Hate it. They're all sitting there. You couldn't score the whole game. What makes you think you're going to score in the last minute? I'm facing like 50 shots. Right. We got 13 on net. They got 50 on us.
Right.
Really? Anyway, I digress. So let's get a little history. Coach Art Ross is the one who originally in the 1931 playoffs, Serge should know this because that's like when the Maple Leafs actually won their cups. Nothing ever since, but and the Boston Bruins.
They were so small back then they were called saucers.
Yeah, exactly. They were playing the Montreal Canadiens, right? And they were down 0-1 with a minute left to go. He pulls Tiny Thompson, the goalie. Never had this.
So this is before Tiny meant big, like the opposite.
He was still
actually tiny.
Yeah, when you can still call people tiny,
right?
Without them freaking out. Oh my God!
Yeah. Sad.
So he pulls a goalie with a minute left, and they're a man up.
Right.
So they're going. They're just shelling the Canadians with pucks, and they don't win. But either way, it was a good strategy, and tradition was born. Right now, you can pull the goalie. Right. But there's also another tradition. He pulled it with a minute left.
Right.
So they've stuck to that tradition. Why? So statistically speaking, so let me ask you this. If you're in a power play, let's say you're in a power play, guy gets a 2-minute misconduct or 2-minute rough. 2-minute power play, what are the odds of scoring? Are the odds better at a 2-minute power play or if the player gets like a 10-minute gross misconduct, and now you have a 10-minute power play? Where are your chances of scoring better, with a 2-minute or a 10-minute?
10-minute.
Of course, right? 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes of these guys running around with a 1-man advantage. Mm-hmm. So why is it that we try to score with 1 minute left?
Because it's always been done that way. That's the only reason.
So that's what these guys did. They came up with the formula, looking at everything, like minutes played in a game, goal down by how many goals, what time do you pull the goalie, when is it more beneficial to pull the goalie? It's actually pretty good. And these guys, like I said, they're freaky. They geek out on numbers. I mean, look at this. You got to look at this. EPNP says. I mean, this. Look at. See if you can see this. Let me highlight it for you guys. there. Look at that equation.
Analytics, that's right.
Yeah, ridiculous, right? Told you, these guys geek out on that stuff. So they came out and they figured out, based on their models, that the best time to pull a goalie is not at 1 minute. It's not at 2 minutes. Go ahead. I'll give you a guess.
4.
No. Actually, the optimal time of pulling a goalie, right, at one point. So if you pull him, it gives you this thing of never pulling a goalie versus pulling a goalie.
Right.
So if you never pull a goalie, statistically,
For those who can't see, it's a graph.
Yeah. And so they found that at 4 minutes, 20 seconds, there's a good time to pull the goalie there. But ultimately, if you're down by 2 goals, I mean, these guys broke it all the way down. So if you're down by 2 goals, they say that the optimal time to pull the goalie is 13 minutes to go.
Really?
13 minutes.
Wow.
That's having played 7 minutes of the third period. Pull the goalie. How do you like them apples? No pun intended with Goodwill Hunting.
Right. Well, it was good
tie-in.
Good tie-in. That sounds awfully early.
Somebody's talking about analytics over here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 13 minutes. Doesn't happen anymore now.
Patrick Roy,
4 or 5 minutes. 4 or 5 minutes. But yes, correct. Patrick Roy is one of the guys who has done that. And where's Patrick Roy now?
He is still having a hissy fit that he was left in the net too long.
Is he still coaching?
No.
Exactly. Which is the point of the paper. That, so again, and this is actually pretty good. Listen to this. So when down 2 goals, you pull the goalie with 13 minutes to go, right? If you score, right? If you score, you put the goalie back in.
Right.
For about another 5-7 minutes until
that I understand.
Until 6:10.
6:10?
Until 6:10.
6:10.
You're down by 1, pull the goalie again.
See, Serge does the odds. He thought the over and under was going to be 6:05. So 6:10.
6:10.
6:10. Okay.
So you got to get a whistle. And then, let me see if I can see some people writing on here. No? Okay. Oh. There you go. I want to see what Serge has to say. Sorry, Serge. It goes quick on this screen, so I'm going to look on my phone. Patrick, welcome. So, okay, yeah. So 6:10, you pull the goalie again. Statistically, you got a better chance of scoring with that guy. So now you tie the game up, and then you finish out the game. So why don't we do this? Well, 1, tradition.
Yep.
And 2, Woody Harrelson.
Oh, Woody. Why Woody?
Did you ever see the movie White Men Can't Jump? It's not a racist thing. It's a movie. Calm down. Calm down. Calm your jets.
With
Woody Harrelson.
Famous tax evader Wesley Snipes? Yes.
Yes, exactly. Wesley Snipes, the Blade vampire.
Yes.
His comment to him, remember the comment when he's sitting there playing, he says, that's a problem with you people. He said, well, you people, what are you talking about, you people? Going back on the racial thing, right? He says, no. He goes, you guys would rather look good and lose than to look bad and win.
Right.
So that comes into play, and that's what Malcolm Gladwell ties into, and that's what this guy ties into in the marketing strategies, right? That the goalies, like Patrick Watt, the goalies, because they're the smart coaches, right? The coaches don't pull the goalie earlier, because if they pull the goalie, say like 7 minutes in,
then it's all on them.
What the hell's wrong with you? You pulled the goalie 1 minute, they didn't win, we didn't get, the puck didn't bounce our way, the guys played, they didn't do well, it happens. Now, you pull them with 7 minutes to go, and they score a goal, you still leave them out, according to the guys, right? The paper, you still leave them out.
Yeah, Serge used the analytics point before, and that's what this is. This is just,
absolutely.
That's all this
Statistically, you get a 0.65, I think it is, percentage improvement to score. And so, the longer you go without, you're in a power play, you know? Really? Now, mind you, your net's exposed, so you do have that risk. And they tie all those numbers in. So you guys don't want to read the paper. It's a really good, really interesting paper.
Oh, I'm reading this paper.
It's called Pulling the Goalie, Hockey Investment and Investment Implications by Clifford, Asness, and Aaron Brown.
Do we know, has this gained traction in the community, in the hockey community? Not that people are using it yet.
But they are.
That's what I'm getting at. We're seeing a little kind of move that way.
You are. So what it is so getting back to, and we'll get to that. It's oddly enough, let me see, I had some notes.
He's got notes.
I got notes.
You can tell.
He's not prepared. I'm old. I don't have any. Doug Pedersen. Who is that? Philadelphia Eagles head coach.
Oh, yes. Doug Peterson. That's right.
That says Pedersen. Peterson's with the T.
Oh, Peterson. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Well, all right.
Yes, but he's right.
All right, so that guy. Apparently, when was this paper written? He said last year. Were they in the playoffs last year?
They won the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, then there you go. That's why he's mentioned. Apparently they were down. And what he did was he went for the extra play, right?
Yes, he did.
With Nick Foles, is that?
Yeah, he did.
Right?
Yep, Nick Foles.
And they're like, why would you do that? Just go for the extra point. No, they went for that, and they ended up winning. Yep. So, hero or go? He played the numbers.
Well, what I loved was he did that because he didn't do it just to be bold, and he didn't do it to just gamble. He had the talent to be able to pull that off too.
But it's also playing the numbers.
No, exactly, because they were sitting in a defense that was not playing for that. They were playing for the extra point. Then they went for the 2-point conversion, and they were unfamiliar. They didn't practice it during the week.
Right.
The guy was open.
And that's what the Asness talks about in this paper.
You know who caught the 2-point conversion?
Foles, right?
Yeah.
The quarterback. The quarterback, yeah. So, and that's what he talks about, that like when in America's team, the Miracle team, when they had we pulled the goalie, and they didn't know what to do. The Russian coach didn't know what to do, and they asked one of the players before,
right.
And he had no clue. He goes, we didn't know what to do. He goes, what's it, in Tikroff or whatever the guy's name is?
They were shocked that.
Yeah, he had no clue. They didn't even practice it. Yep. Here you go.
The American team was shocked they didn't pull the goal.
Russian defenseman Sergei Starikov later explained, quote, we never did 6-on-5, not even in practice, because Tikhonov just didn't believe in it.
Right.
Well, guess who did?
That's right. Yep.
Kurt Russell.
And here's the funny thing. You bring up the fact that the Russians did not pull the goalie. The first game of the hockey for the U.S. team, they were down and pulled the goalie with a minute left, and they scored.
Exactly. And again, we're going back to 1 minute left, right? So we need to. So looking at the numbers, Patrick Waugh was right, being a smart goalie that he is, and he's pulling him a little sooner. Still at the 4 minute, 20-second mark, 5 minutes, that's good. But it needs to be 2 goals down. Can you imagine? So that's what he's saying, that these coaches, if they pull them at a minute and they lose, okay, you lost, no big deal. He pulls them
But no, here's the thing. If you have a good team, and specific to offense or good defensive team, but as I'm thinking about it, I mean, I wouldn't do it. But now, as I'm thinking about it, if you're a mediocre team fighting for playoffs, I think it's great because statistically, how many times you come back from 2-goal disadvantage anyway? You're probably losing that game.
And if it doesn't matter, the goals don't matter, then why not do it?
Right.
Well, the goals matter, not so much in the outcome of the game. A loss is a loss. However, it matters in saving face. So the coach pulls, they're down 1-0 or 2-0. They pull the goalie at 13 minutes. They get scored on. Now it's 3-0.
Right.
Leave them out. They get scored on again. Now it's a blowout, 4-0.
Right.
That goal, that coach is now, you're out. Now he's looking bad. We need to get rid of him. The fans freak out. Everything.
Well, this whole thing, it's that whole culture of not taking ownership.
Right.
Or the flip side, doing things just to make a name for yourself that have no statistical substance. So I'm thinking about it. I'm liking it a little bit more. I don't know about that 12-minute mark, 13. But
see, it even feels. Dude, the numbers don't lie. That's why math is beautiful. Because here's the numbers, here's the number, here's the statistics.
And it leaves enough room for variables. So, for example, if you're down by 1 with 4 minutes to go, but you're peppering the hell out of their net, maybe you
pull that goalie.
You still pull it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know because
if you're peppering that net, that means they can't keep you out of their zone, which means they're not going to be able to get a shorty on you.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So they can't handle 5-on-5.
Right.
You put another one in there, your numbers just increase even more.
See, I'm looking at it the other way that, if you have that offensive momentum now, do I want to give up the defense? But you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
See, it's just like gambling. Like that's the difference between my buddies and me when we gamble. They gamble to make money. I gamble to not lose money.
Right.
And they freak out. They're like, what are you doing? Like, we'll play craps. Right. And I play 6 and 8. Even money. $5.
Yep.
And they're putting odds, so they bet, I think, was it $5.50 or $7.50?
Yeah, they're all over the board.
So $7.50 pays $10. Yeah, and you also lose $7.50 on a $5 minimum bet. Right. And so we always get in this argument every year. It's hilarious. And they're like, "You're throwing money away." I'm like, "No, because you're basing it that you're going to win. I'm basing this on reality that statistically I'm going to lose. Right. And if I win $5, then I win $5. I'm not stingy with the extra $2.50.
We used to call that the husband night out approach. I don't want to bust early. I got my night out for my wife. I'm out. I'm going to milk this thing as long as I can.
The way I I justify my gambling is if I go to a movie, right? Not by myself. It's about $40. $40 for two hours of entertainment.
Yep.
So I get to the table for $40-$50. Here you go. And I got to make those last for 2 hours. After 2 hours, I've entertained myself. I'm good to go.
Yep.
Then you can start betting a little wild or whatever. Another thing I do is once I get $40, I put those in my pocket and I'm playing with their money. So I never lose that. I'm always playing.
Always play with the house money.
Yeah. And so, but anyway, so it was a really interesting article. There's quite a few papers have been written on it by a ton of Wall Street experts. I mean, these guys, that's all they do. There's numbers, right? And so if you got, I'll give you this paper so you can read it. And Malcolm Gladwell also did a paper on it. He goes into the psyche of it, right? As to why they don't, because they don't want to look bad.
Right.
And the social implications of it, of how, now you look like a terrible coach, because why would you do that? You never pull the goalie without more than 2 minutes. Look at, with Patrick Wall, I'm sure people freaked out about that. And so, but anyway, so that was pretty interesting.
It's funny, you mentioned that, and we're seeing a cultural shift in football because a report like this came out. And the numbers were overwhelming. Remember it used to be, like when we both were enjoying football, Roger Staubach, Terry Bradshaw. Unless you got to like the 35-yard line, you punted.
Right.
Now, if you cross the 45, statistically, from the yardage that you're going to give up and give them the ball, the thing is that now it's almost overwhelming to go for it.
Yeah.
So when it was 4th and 1, you used to punt, I think it's 57% that you get the first down. And the risk is
go for it.
They go for it now, where they didn't back then.
Right. And that's what they said here, that they say, admittedly, our model doesn't consider pride.
Right.
But just leave it out. Use the numbers. So they were talking about it, and also that in other sports, they're doing it. They're playing the numbers game, right? For instance, in basketball, 3-point shot's a low percentage shot. However, statistically, the more 3-pointers you shoot, the better you're going to score.
The Warriors are getting championships off of that.
There you are. So here it is. Don't go for 4th and down early enough. It says that the players don't shoot nearly enough 3-point shots, nor football coaches don't go on 4th down nearly enough, nor attempt enough 2-point conversions.
And it's so funny because, again...
and here's where... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
So here's where he says, essentially, winning ugly is undervalued versus losing elegantly.
I'm all about winning ugly.
Right?
You win the game, I don't care.
However, losing ugly can be career suicide.
Correct. Because at least they can hang the hat on how pretty it was.
Right.
But you know what? I'm sorry. It's about W's.
Right.
Well, that's like, I'm just infuriated with baseball where they're devaluing the pitcher's win count. And I know my favorite pitcher, Jacob deGrom, who won the Cy Young this year, did not have a lot of wins. So I'm not saying that you don't look at other factors, but now they're kind of saying win doesn't matter. What matters is in his pitch, strike ratio, ERA.
Yeah.
This and
baseball goes way. I think they go overboard in the statistics.
Too much.
But that goes again into what you hate is what do they call it, the shift?
Yeah,
where statistically a right-handed batter is not going to hit.
Sabermetrics.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's not going to hit down right line.
And I hate it. Oh my God. But how do you not be able to do that?
But you're playing the numbers.
Yes.
That's exactly it. Playing the numbers.
How many
correctly.
Little League baseball games as a catcher did you have to stand there and watch, little Eddie or little Frankie or Susan, hit the ball the other way, way, step toward.
Yeah.
Then they can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
They can't or they won't. And how about the fact that they can't lay a bunt down?
Well, that's just it. If you hit the other way, you're not going to hit a towering home run, right?
No.
So it's all about face and, I got to look good and hit this big old towering home run.
But what they don't understand is and we're going to talk about this another time if you want, because I like this data. But what they're doing is they're devaluing their next contract, because what they're doing is they got this wins without replacement or wins above replacement number and some of these other things. You're limiting your game. So you're limiting your on-base percentage. You're limiting your RBIs. You're limiting some of the things that you used to be able to negotiate with. So they're going to be able to say, Tony or Darren can't bunt.
Right. So why should we give them the contract? Let me do a quick sound check, make sure we're sounding good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, that was a lot quicker.
This Cubo is very, very good, by the way, if you're wondering. I'm smoking a Cubo. And remember, a little plug, Cigar Mas Fino on Cedar and Nice in Fresno. The new Cigar Mas Fino.
Yes,
Yeah, what'd you call it? New, old?
It's the same Cigar Mas Fino, but a little different. So it's under new management. It's still Cigar Mas Fino. Still a great place to hang out. They've done a little bit of, there's Bugsy. They've done a little bit of renovating, a little change of the look of the place. It was cozy before, equally as cozy, just a little bit different. Seems a little bit roomier.
Yes.
And
nice selection is back.
Yes, a ton of cigars. The shelves are almost full with a good, decent selection. And if you haven't gone by there, go by there. If you heard that, oh, they closed down, they didn't close down. They just changed ownerships. I know that they were down for like a day or two, right? They were like cleaning up and everything else. It looked like they were closed. Some people may have thought they're closed, but they're not. They're very much open. And come on down there. You might find Darren or myself down there and come by, say hi, give us a topic to talk about, and we'll do it. Maybe even put you.
Serge is going to be there on Monday night, so you have the whole FHT crew there. Saturday mornings. 9 a.m. opens up. There's some coffee, and sometimes there'll be some breakfast trucks, some breakfast burritos. Super Bowl Sunday, you heard Serge talk about this. $25 a person. It's going to be first come, first served. Buffet. Great place to watch the Super Bowl. Or as they have to say, the big game. Because they're going to sue your ass.
That's another thing.
Isn't it horrible?
You can't say the Super. Why? They trademark that. They trademark everything. They're going to trademark air. Well, actually, California's already trying to.
Yes.
Or at least tax you on it, right?
Well, you got to call and ask permission to use air.
Don't get me started. I can't wait to leave. So Serge says we should try this on the Bantam team. Yeah, that'll go over well with the parents.
Did I hear him laugh somehow?
Actually, what we'll do instead is we'll pull the goalie and we'll just have him be the sixth person. Yes. I've done that actually. We were playing. What was it? I was playing roller hockey years ago. It was just a house league, so it's no big deal. And we went down to a shootout. And I'm like, let me shoot. Let me be one of the shooters. Like, no. So my buddy's like, dude, you can trust me. Let him take my shot. So I go down there, and you see a goalie coming down. You're not used to it. You don't know what the hell he's going to do. He just came in, ripped it. It was awesome. I scored. It was hilarious, though.
You know, they do that in the highest levels of soccer when they have penalty kicks.
Oh, really? They put the goal in?
Yeah, goalies do it.
He's got the biggest foot, right?
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Yeah. And they know tendencies, what other goalies are going to do. And
I did that in a pickup game in ice. Smitty was the goaltender on the other side, and Ripper was playing, and he comes down. The whole team just came down because we were playing like half ice, and so the whole team. There's no defense in pickup games. It sucks being a goalie. Well, there's no defense. So the whole team just kind of comes this way. I make a save, and I'm like, screw it. So I just take up ice. Right. And they're like, what the hell are you doing? So then I got these guys chasing after me, Ripper, as per his name, sitting there hooking the shit out of my arm. And so I come down on Smitty, and then he hooked me as I was pulling the shot, so Smitty gloves it. And then afterwards, he's just laughing. He goes, dude, I didn't know what to do because I never saw like a goalie come at me.
It's like a unicorn. So, Serge, if you can, type in, call in, come by. If you could, if we could talk about that other topic we're going to talk about. Trading deadline's coming up. You own a WSHL team, and let's
wait. Are you talking trading NHL first and segue in?
Either way, it's your show.
No, go ahead. You start with that. Go ahead.
No, we'll start NHL.
So my question is, you have, for instance, Pittsburgh Penguins. They had Lafleur, the goalie. For some reason, they want to get. He's old. He's dying out. We want to get Murray in there, right? So he goes in there. They couldn't wait. Murray got hurt the first game, so they pulled him. Was this last year? And no, year before last. Sorry. They pull Murray because he got hurt. So they put in Flower. Flower gets like a shutout the first game. They only score one. He's playing great. He loses one game. Boom. They swap him out and they put in Murray because they won. That's who they wanted to go with, right? So they traded him shortly thereafter. So he wasn't a local kid, but he had his whole career there.
Yep.
So now say, and Detroit does that a lot. I'm sure other teams do. I just don't pay attention to them because I'm more of a Detroit fan. Where they have guys like, that have stayed with that team. I mean, their entire career. Lindstrom. Oh my God, now I'm losing the centerman. Iserman. All these guys that just the whole career was there, right? So trade deadline comes up. Do you trade those players for a better player? I mean, it's a tough question, right? Because they're fan favorites. They're still putting out numbers, but for whatever reason, you got a centerman who is more of a setup guy, but you need a winger who can put the puck in the net.
I'm going to sound a little bit like a fan and a little bit like an analyst.
Well, that's because we are.
Right. There are always, and people, if you're watching, what do you think? There's always, in my opinion, one or two untouchables. Yzerman is an untouchable,
Why is he an untouchable, though?
Because your son and you both bought his jersey. It's that kind of thing.
Right.
He's been there so long.
And I think it's still like one of their top-selling jerseys.
Yes. So there's a few of those guys. But now the Rangers traded Eddie Jockerman. I mean, an absolute legend to your team, the Red Wings.
Yeah.
So there's always like these guys. Joe Namath was traded. But there are these guys that, like, for example,
Gretzky was traded for a buck.
That's right. But you kind of knew why that was.
Right?
You kind of knew what that was. That was for the league and everything else.
Yeah.
But, like, did Guy Lafleur ever look comfortable in any other jersey but a Montreal Canadiens jersey? No.
Nor did not Paul Coffey, Boston Bruins.
Ray Bork. But so no, I think there's like one or two guys that you have, like Fernando Valenzuela in baseball.
Right.
He's Dodger. He's got to be. These are those guys. And I've changed. As I become more on the side of really analyzing things, yeah, you do. You get rid of them. Except for one or two.
Okay, so that one or two is the one we're talking about.
Right.
So that one or two now segues into WCHL. You have a lot of these teams have local kids that are playing on the team. Trade line's coming up. Do you trade the local kid?
You got these guys, in my opinion, 4 years. 4 years, maybe 5 if they're a goalie or whatever, but basically 4 years. You don't have time to have the father and son or father-daughter, mother-daughter jersey sale. They're here 4 or 5 years. They're local, but listen, when they were shooting pucks like your son does, my son does, Adrian does, and stopping pucks out in front of the garage, they're thinking NHL, or they're thinking, big game. They're not thinking that this is where I'm going to stay. I think. Now, yeah, I know they pay, but my thought is your job is to develop a program and to win. Now, if you're going to trade them, you better trade them for really good value. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's where I sit. If you're going to trade them, that's fine, but you better get good value for them. You better get. Now,
so why is it good to trade a local kid, but not good to trade Yzerman?
Because Yzerman's there 15 years, has made millions of dollars for the team. He's gone to the local hospitals. He's a member of the. This kid's been there 4 years. To me, there's a difference. Plus, you've earned the right to sit at the head of the table.
Right.
This kid is still 16, 17. They're still working on aspects of the game, and in some ways, they're learning that. I mean,
that's part of the game.
It's the game.
If they make it, that's part of the game, right? Yeah. But the other thing too is like, even though say he's a good player on your team, he's not getting enough playing time or whatever else. He's a local kid. Perhaps he's not doing that well. Let's go with that one, right? You can get a much better score from another team. So say you trade him. Are you doing him and his family a disservice because now he's not the local boy on the team? Or what if he goes over to that team and tears it up? Well, because now he has more playing time on that team because he's better than that team.
Look,
right?
Killer, and yes, I'm a little biased because I think he's an excellent coach.
Yeah.
That's the way he's been building the Monsters the last couple of years. He finds these, and Serge Hockey Guru is talking about this, he finds these disenchanted players that feel, for whatever reason, not getting the ice time, or whatever the case may be. It's not a good clubhouse for them. And he gets them, and they're exploding. Look at his recent trades. I'll be shocked if this team loses before the playoffs the rest of the year. And I think they're going to go real far in the playoffs. But yeah.
Well, that's the mark of a good general manager, right? Somebody they can draft well. I mean, you get guys like Pavel Datsyuk. I think he was 16th in the draft. Detroit, and I swear, I think Detroit lost their scout or the guy that managed trades or something.
That's another thing that we don't talk about enough. Those guys, they're critical.
Right.
critical.
Right, because everybody looks at the coach and the owner. No. The guy that's out at the high school games, at the college games, at AHL games, like this guy's got to go. Like they see something, right? And he comes up. Like if you've never seen Trouble with the Curve,
right,
that's a good movie to watch.
Yes.
It's just a good movie. Yeah, I like Clint Eastwood anyway, but it's a good movie. And it kind of goes into the aspects of what to look for, like little subtleties of that they look like. Kid's got a hitch and he can't hit the curveball. Like, oh, but he's towering home runs. Well, yeah, but only on fastballs.
Right.
And in the pros, they're going to catch on to that. I know I could catch on to that as a catcher. It's like, dude, give him 2 outside. He's going to miss every time.
That's what baseball, I'm sorry, that's what baseball and hockey are so entwined. Because if you're a goalie, and you are, okay, so the first or second time you play against a certain hockey player, and they do some things, you're going to now notice the tendencies. You're going to be like, this guy likes to go bar down. You know, this guy likes to go backhand, but he's really going to go forehand. Yeah. So what happens is you really don't know the skill set of a young player until the second or third time he plays against the goalie or plays against it. In baseball, right? We see it all the time. Yeah. Oh, he can't hit the curve.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh, here we go. Curveballs it is.
Why did he come out and hit 5 home runs? Because everybody's throwing fastballs.
Right. So that's a good movie. The other movie that also gives you like a back, and this one, again, I'm not a big football fan, but it gave a really, to me at least, a really good picture of the inner workings of the draft.
Right.
Isn't that the name of the movie, The Draft?
The Draft with what's his name?
Build It.
Waterworld.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both got different movies.
You think of a great movie. I think of maybe the worst movie. Other than the Flintstones.
Right.
Ever.
So that was a really good movie because there is so much that goes on that I never realized behind the scenes. You know, where he's like making a trade here from this guy, and this trade depends on this going through. I mean, it's pretty
great.
Cool. And you look at it, like in that one where he's talking about the kid turned 21 and none of his teammates were at that party. Why?
Right.
So these guys look at every little detail.
They do.
And that is interesting to see. And like, it's not just in the pros, it's even now. I'm sure Killer is sitting there looking through stats, looking through everything, looking at tape, and has to make that decision, right?
And you know, it really, the fans don't understand that. And you know what? And it's not the fans' fault. Because the ESPNs of the world, and I'm not going on a tangent, this is just true, or your local broadcast, they don't talk about that.
Nobody does.
But that's the real meat,
That's the nuts and bolts, right?
That's the nuts and bolts.
And that's what I said. I think Detroit lost that guy because they used to pick guys up late in the draft that became phenomenal players. I mean, just great players. And so I think they lost because then they've come on a stretch where they're not panning out, you know. But anyway, that's a question to ponder. Do you trade the local kid?
Yeah, I'll give you 1947. Jackie Robinson comes into the league, and we don't need to tell you, Rookie of the Year, and he won the World Series in '55. And this is sort of like both sides of that issue. After the 1956 season, the Brooklyn Dodgers traded him. You know who they traded him to? The New York Giants. Their mortal enemy.
That's their enemy, yeah, their biggest rival.
And you know what Jackie did? He retired. He says, I'm not playing for that team.
Yeah, done.
But they got rid of him.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time. They kind of get rid of these aging players, right? You know? Or they tell them to retire. But if you can get a run in, but see, sometimes it works to your benefit. I'm here to say, as a Ranger fan, in '94, at the trading deadline, when they got Glenn Anderson and they got McTavish and they got
Issa
Tikkanen, they're not winning without those guys.
No.
These guys still have shit in the tank.
Yep.
So you know what I'm saying?
Issa had plenty of kisses to give.
Yes.
It's hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yep. He's one of the few guys, I still call it a bubblegum card. I have his bubblegum card from when I stare at it.
He's got that old stupid skull cap that Jay Johnson wears still.
Alex, right?
Alex just came out wearing that at the Bantam practice. So I looked over, what's Jay doing on the ice? And like, his is white. I looked, is that Alex? Hell. So, the Hoffa, Jaffa. Jimmy Hoffa's dead, dude. Or is he supposed to be?
He's hiding.
Along with Elvis and Tupac.
Yes.
They're living it up.
So, no, yeah, I think you do. I think, look, it killed me as a fan when Tom Seed was traded. But that was a different issue because that was just a news reporter just insulted his wife. He's like, I'm out of here.
Done.
So they got rid of him.
And that's what you don't have anymore. You don't have principles, right? You have everybody whining about, oh, he called me this, oh, he did this, he did that. And what happened to principles? Like now it's all about almighty dollar.
Yes.
You know. That and you know well he did it with on steroids. That's the other thing. That's another topic of baseball.
Well, let's bring it up.
So we were talking about something. One of your wrap ups. I can't remember. It was it was about keeping somebody out of the
Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame because of steroids.
Yes.
You know, I say go with the steroids.
I do too.
You know what? Have 2 leagues. Think about it. You have one league of the purists. You get like the Olympics. They get tested daily, fortnightly. I don't care.
Right.
And you got the Mark McGuire's, the Cansecos, the Sosas, all these other guys who want to roid it up. Go for it. You don't think people are gonna line up to watch that?
Of course they are.
Regular season's over for the pros. Bring on the steroid league.
Because people,
roid rage and all.
And I don't know who these people are, so nobody sue me. Okay, but you know people who pay $12 now a movie ticket. See a bunch of guys all growth hormones and juiced up and. So it doesn't seem to bother them there, but it bothers them.
Look at the WWF, WWE. What initial are we up to?
Right now, here's the thing: if you were going to keep these guys out of the Hall of Fame because they use steroids, I can disagree, but I can understand that and jump on board. What I don't like is you put their managers into the Hall of Fame. So how are you rewarding managers that benefited from steroid plays, but the steroid plays can't get in? Square that round hole for me.
Well, yeah, but then you're going to have to go back to every sport. For instance, what's the kid that broke Mark Spitz's records? All of them. The swimmer.
Guy
who he had a whole thing because he was hitting a bong.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, what the hell's his name? Somebody chime in with that. He broke all of Mark Spitz's records. There's that wonderful
meme where the guy was trying to mock him, and he's looking straight ahead, and the guy came in second place is looking.
Oh yeah, he's just not even paying attention. So yeah, that guy. So
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps, thank you. So he broke all of those. They should have an asterisk by his name on the record books because he broke all those records wearing a hydrophobic suit.
Right.
Mark Spitz had a 70s porn stash.
Right.
He's like, screw you. Yep. World record or not, I'm not shaving the stash. Hairy body, big old fro, no cap, and held records since what, the 70s?
Yep.
And this guy comes along in a hydrophobic suit and breaks his records. How is that not steroids? That's no different than juicing up on steroids.
Well,
right?
that's like when Babe Ruth originally broke. When Roger Maris originally broke Babe Ruth's record, there was an asterisk for the first couple of years because Babe Ruth did it in 158 games. Roger Maris did it in 162. So they felt the legitimacy of putting an asterisk, but then people were like, no, it's the season. Happens in football all the time. People talk about. Tom Brady threw for this much, just to use his name. Yeah, there's 16 games now. When Terry Bradshaw first started, there were 11 or 12.
Yeah. Well, it's just like in boxing too, right? 15 rounds compared to 12.
Oh, please, don't even get me started. Get me started.
But why can't you have the asterisk? In track and field, they have it for like the 100-yard dash or any of the races. They'll put an asterisk and it's wind aided.
That's right.
So they're out there with the little meter that tells them how fast the wind is. And I can't remember if it's 4 miles an hour is the limit. I was slow as hell, so I wasn't a runner. I can't remember what the minimum mile an hour was before they would, if you broke a record, it didn't really count. It'd have an asterisk by it because it was wind aided. Now you're going into the wind and you break it, you don't get any extra points. It's just, you broke it against the wind.
Right.
But yet, if you go with the wind at your back, they kind of take away from it. So why not have that in other sports?
I think the answer is what you and I are doing right now. I think it's a nice, right conversation. You do know he did it once, because then where does the line stop? And I don't disagree with you. These guys have personal masseuses and they fly. They're not taking the train. They have night games so they can sleep all day. Back then, you went from literally St. Louis to New York by train and you played the next day.
Or a bus with no air conditioning.
Yes. So where's that line? But in theory, I get it. The wind is a great idea. You don't get it. You don't hear too much of that in hockey. Even though the sticks have been augmented.
Oh my gosh. Like the strongest shot, L.I. Afraidy was 104 with a wood stick.
Yes.
Can you imagine what he could do with a graphite stick? Holy
I remember watching that.
That's insane.
So where do you sit with the with hockey now creeping back to that video game sort of look with the names on top of the people? And
I hate it.
I hate it too. I just hate
it. Well, why don't you, in that case, bring back the Fox puck?
Oh, nothing was worse. I'm a huge hockey guy. I don't know it like the hockey guru does, or you do, but I love hockey because, like you said earlier, I was always a Ranger fan.
Yeah.
I can name the sister of, the fourth line center.
Yeah.
And then, everybody else was residual. Except for the Islanders.
How many siblings does Brand Boyle have?
Don't know anymore.
He's gone. He's dead to me.
Yes.
He went to New Jersey too, did he? I think he got traded to New Jersey initially, and where the hell is he now?
I don't know.
He's somewhere else. I don't know. Serge would know.
But
he's got a ton. It's hilarious. They did a 24 or 30, whatever those things.
30 for 30.
30 for 30 on him, and it's kind of it's cute because he's huge, and he's got all these sisters. Like a couple are like doctors, I think, and they're all making fun of him. It's like, oh yeah.
Well, I'm going to get you out of your comfort zone because you know a lot of sports. You know sports. So I don't know if you got... Really. No, you'll agree with me in a second, I think. But remember when you were a kid? Boy, you knew who the heavyweight champion was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
Why? What happened? How did boxing become such...
Well,
nobody
fixed.
cares? Yeah, I think there's that, but I also think it's...
MMA is totally taking them out. I mean, you have the whole thing. I mean, and boxing is fixed. They're gonna, people are gonna,
call in. That's what we're here.
Freak out or whatever. And yeah, pretty soon we're gonna try that. We're gonna attempt that where you can call in. So and that's in the future here. We're working on that to get calls in out of all these live viewers that we have.
The funny thing is, we get more replays than we do the actual live. But live is cool.
When we hit the lottery, we'll do this during the day instead of working.
That's right. Or me.
But you have. You lose my train of thought. What were we talking about? Boxing. Oh, MMA's come along, and it's you have boxing. We have like the Roberto Duran, the No Mas fight. Right. They're like, oh, he quit. He quit. No, it was fixed. Watch that fight. He kicks Sugar Ray Leonard's ass for 7 rounds, and the 7th is where he's supposed to go down. He comes in, beats his ass for the first minute and a half of the round. And then that's when you see Sugar Ray Leonard do the little stupid little thing this way, hitting over here because he knew the fix was in. Yeah, he knew the fix was in. So then you watch Duran. He just do. All right, I'm done. I'm not gonna go down. I'll lose, but I'm not going down because the guy was talking about bravado. That guy just didn't, was full of it.
Hands of stone.
Yeah, and you know why you call him that, right? Because he freaking had hands of stone.
Yes.
There's his manager.
Such a boxing guy.
Oh yeah, that's Mike Tyson's idol, by the way. There's a story where his manager was talking about they were in Mexico, and they have those zebras. They're mules. They paint like zebras and they take pictures. I actually have a picture of me on top of one. I got to see one of these days. And he's comes out of a bar drunk, and he's like, $10 says I can knock that mule out. They're like, no, you can't. Oh, $10.
Like Blazing Saddles.
He freaking knocked damn mule out. The manager goes, damn near broke his hand, but that poor animal just was knocked out. How ridiculous is that, right? Can you imagine PETA gets over that?
No. Jesus.
Calm down, PETA. It was in Mexico where they're not as sensitive as they are in the United States. And so, so he just like, screw it, I'm not going to go down. You can win, but I'm not going down. And then a friend of mine that I worked with, he was a physician at Cook County General in Chicago. And he said that he had come in. One guy I think I told you the story before.
Well, tell them. This is a great story.
That one of the guys had come in and said, we have this guy somebody busted a bottle over his head. It needed sutures, stitches. And the doc he was a resident then. And the guy didn't have insurance or something. The other doctor, no, have him go to the other place, which doesn't make any sense because the county hospital should have seen him anyway. But they're too busy to put him in. And so he goes, just go ahead, I'll do it, right? So he goes in and stitches him up, does a pro bono, and the guy's like, hey, doc, thanks a lot, yada, yada. He goes, yeah, no worries. He goes, hey, do you like boxing? He goes, you like boxing? He's like, yeah, sure. He goes, if you're a gambling man, he goes, Mike Tyson in the first. And he leaves. Whatever. He goes, I don't know who Mike Tyson was. He goes, who is this, right? So he goes home, he looks it up. Mike Tyson's fighting tonight. He goes, Michael Spinks. Knocks him out and win. 47 seconds.
Oh, there's no fight that has ever looked, in my opinion, as crooked as that one. Mike Spinks, if you look closely, you notice he brought a pillow and a blanket with him. And the home of the... He's down! Holy hit. He wanted no part of Mike Tyson. No, if you listen to these boxers, and like I said, I used to really be into boxing. I was an amateur California boxing judge too. Pete, helped me out with that. And in the 50s, you had to dive to earn your bones. you had to take a dive along the way. A lot of these guys, not all of them, most of them.
To make the bookies money.
Right. And so and to get booked into better fights.
Right.
So
how are you gonna get booked into better fights if you're taking dives?
Because it actually makes sense. Let's use a hockey analogy. You're a second line. You're a third line center, second line center.
Okay.
You know, you make that first line center shine. You know, so in boxing, the first line center would beat up the third line center. You know, he goes up, he gets his glory. He's out after a year and a half. You're the next guy up.
Oh, so you're planning for the future.
Yeah, you're planning for the future, right. Now, Marciano used to talk about how he was able to avoid that. And he was able to avoid that because he pretty much managed his own fights. That's why they tried to stain him with he fought a bunch of, over-the-hill kind of guys and this and that. And
pick the right fight.
Yeah,
Pick a fight you can win, right?
Yep, and that's why he had to fight Joe Louis when Joe Louis was older, and people don't realize Joe Louis fought after that, and it was a disaster what they did to him. Oh,
but I mean, and so that you have. I think MMA came back, and I mean those the guy's knocked out. Can he fake it? Sure, but that's a hell of a shot to the jaw to fake.
Look, and the other thing that kind of razzes me. And listen, the way that, I can't speak for you, but, I think we all raise our kids pretty much the same way. If they want to watch something at midnight, and it's a weekend, it's a sporting event, we're going to let them watch MMA, whatever it is. Yeah. But my point is, you're taking more, I don't care how much money you're making, because you're getting more and more money from less and less of the population. You keep showing these fights at midnight, and they last 3 minutes. And it's $75. The working staff, who's, he's working 2 jobs as it is. You have to be showing some of these fights prime time.
But Mike Tyson was that because he
was the last of the guys.
No, but he started the stigma of why pay for pay-per-view.
Right.
Because you pay $60 for this fight that lasted 2 rounds. I mean, he was an impressive and dominant. He was like Tiger Woods. Seriously, you were watching to see what round he'd knock the guy out or how badly he'd knock him out.
He had one of the best trainers of all time, Customato.
Yep, Customato. And so people were like, I'm not gonna pay $60. He's like, just wait and watch the replay. It's the whole fight.
Right.
And certainly in Spink's case, it was 47 seconds worth of a highlight, and there's the fight. And so I think that's where people started kind of going away from it. But a lot of them, it's dirty. You have the judges the judges in both MMA as well, right? And that's why they always say, baseball too. You don't leave it up to the ump. You go down, swing it.
And that's like with the Saints with that bad call. It stinks. It was a bad call. I get it, but you still let the other team drive down the field.
You let them win.
You let them win.
Yeah. But and again, and even in MMA when they had Elite XL, X Elite something. It was another competitor for Dana's what is it? Ultimate Fighter, right?
Right.
And they had this guy named Kimbo Slice. I think he died.
I remember Kimbo.
Right. So he's a guy who's just a bare knuckles fighter, backyard fighter. So they wanted to build based on his popularity on social media. They were gonna, he's gonna be the champion. Yeah. Well, just like what's the guy's Sapp? Ryan Sapp.
Warren Sapp? No.
No, not the quarterback. This guy, he played football. I have to look him up. The guy's a monster. He did pancrase. He did all this stuff in Japan. Huge. I mean, this guy's a monster. He had glass jaw, no gas tank. So he'd get in there with these little guys who would just run around him, kick him in the legs, and he'd crumble and fall. Brian Sapp. Oh, Jesus. Anyway. So that's how Kimbo Slice was. He didn't have a gas tank, so he swung for the fences. Yep. And he hits it. You're done. And in MMA, it becomes a technical fight. A lot of these guys are wrestlers.
Absolutely.
And if you watch high-level wrestling, it's almost like a chess match. If you move this way, I'm coming this way. You move this, so it's a chess match really. And he didn't have that. He just had, big, heavy hands, and so he wasn't winning. And so they rigged the fights. Well, it was so bad. And it was, you could tell it was just,
Right.
And that whole league is gone. It was a sore eye on MMA. And so, this stuff is rigged. And so I think that's the reason that boxing is going by the wayside, because you have MMA fighters that you get knocked out and it's solid, he kicked his ass. Compared to boxing where you go to the tape and, look at Mayweather. Yep. He just runs around and he gets the win every time. It's like, come on.
Mayweather, look, you play within the rules, right? Even though those rules are what they are.
Right.
I don't think I've ever watched a guy who I want to see lose more. Now, that's part of his charm. And he makes a lot of money. He's a brilliant business person. But it's so boring. It's so boring watching a person,
as hell to watch.
Grab and hold and just kind of turtle up and do the old Ken Norton. And it's just boring to watch. When they used to be able to go 15, I mean, those are some fights. Because you had an ebb and a flow. So you're going to have somebody coming out early, or you have
Bob Sapp. Take a look at that size of that guy. He's a freaking monster.
Right, remember, this is a phone. He's a lot bigger than that.
Yeah. So look him up, Bob Sapp, and you'll see some of his fights. The guy is huge. Anyway, continue.
No, so what I used to love about the fights was they'd be on Saturday afternoon. Not the championship ones, sometimes the champion ones, but the up-and-comers. Top 10 was an up-and-comer, not some guy you never heard of. So they would fight 15 rounds. They'd be feeling each other out for 2 or 3 rounds. Then somebody else would come out and they'd dominate for a couple of rounds. Then the other guy would come back, and then the last couple was all war. I mean, it was great. And then they went to 12, sometimes 10, and I get the reasons why, and I'm not here to validate or not validate that. But now even the boxing matches are on at midnight. It's just a bunch of pomp and flash, and I love the sport, and I apologize if I'm disrespecting boxers. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Who's the heavyweight champion right now?
I had it in my vlog, and I already forgot because nobody cares.
Exactly.
There's an IBF, WBC one, and then there's a WBA one. The last ones I remember were the Klitschko's, who got no light because they were European, they weren't American, so they would fight in Germany. Both these brothers were PhDs, that brilliant, athlete. Yeah, PhD, yeah. They spoke 4 languages.
One of them's married to Hayden Panettiere, whatever.
He just keeps winning.
He's like 6'6". She's like 5 foot nothing.
Yes, yeah. She can't get on the rise of
That's pretty good. Like he's not a boxer. I think he actually did box. Dolph Lundgren, right in the Rocky movies, and also plays in. Jesus Christ! What's this song? Imagine Dragons. Yes. He's in a video, and he plays a boxer. He's much older now. That guy is a genius. He's got like
absolute genius.
150 IQ. He's a statistical science or something.
To his point, when you're done watching us, go to TED Talks and watch his TED Talk. He does a TED Talk. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. And he plays Drago, he dies or whatever. Hey. But the guy, it's just like Rocky. It's perfect because everybody thinks Rocky's stupid, yet he wrote every Rocky movie.
That's right.
And I don't care what you say. They're what do you? Gosh, I gotta get some more sleep. I'm forgetting my words here. You know what's gonna happen. Predictable.
Right.
Right. But you can't deny that you're like at the edge of your seat, like hit him, right? They're good movies. Hey, everybody thinks he's stupid, but the guy's genius.
He's an absolute genius. Yeah. And the man's in his 60s, and he's still putting out these movies. Yeah. And even Rocky 6 was called just Rocky. It was called Rocky Balboa. What he did in that movie was nobody would. If you said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be close to 60 at the time, and I'm going to fight an exhibition for the world championship. You're going to be like, no, I'm not. No, that movie's going to suck. Yeah. The movie didn't suck. I'm going to kill my wife. Didn't suck. Didn't suck. So
the one with Tommy Gunn sucked.
That was the worst. That was the worst with Tommy Morrison. That thing was like, it was like filmed like we've written directed.
He's actually said that he wishes he'd never made that movie.
He's right.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah, that was horrible.
It was it ends with a bar fight. It ends with a bar. That's all you need to know.
Yeah. Skip it. It's like Aliens 3. Skip that one.
Aliens 3 is horrible.
Just take the box set, throw that one away. You won't miss anything.
So we're going to play a word association, get to know Uncle Tony, and you could ask me some if you want. And for those of you who are watching, if you want to play along, that's great. But you're probably watching when we're on replay, so we can't actually see what you say. So, which was the best Aliens?
2.
Why?
Well, Sigourney Weaver.
Right.
No. I don't know. I think it was better than the first one. The first one was, I mean, it was older, so it was more of a Hitchcock film, the first one, right? More suspense. Ridley Scott, even though he directed both, was more suspense. You didn't really get to see the animal that much, but it laid the ground story, right? Aliens 2, I mean, you had Will Paxton in there.
Right.
Come on. It was a good movie. It had more action. It was good. Sigourney came into her own in that character. And I really like it. And then they really, the last, what is it, Alien versus Predator?
No, and there was one this past summer. There was another Alien movie that came out.
Yeah. Well, it's like the origination of the Alien, right?
Yeah,
and
sort of prequel. And
yeah, and it was okay. But the other one I can't stand because here you got this alien that decimated a bunch of terraformers. See? Yeah, who watches aliens, right? Yeah. And it was just one, right? And just that whole planet or whatever. And then in the fourth one, you have this girl who's a geologist or what the hell was she? And she's the one that does them in.
Right.
Come on, at the end, she's pulling on the chain that ties it to the water tower. Are you joking?
This is why the man's brilliant. I'm going to flip to Sylvester Stallone. Rambo 1 was really good. Rambo 2 was fine. Even the latest Rambo that came out after Rocky Balboa was fine. Rocky 3 is a disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, Rambo 3. Don't ever watch Rambo 3. Why? To his point. Here's a guy that single-handedly can just take, you better bring more body bags. You know what Richard Prentice says? Do you remember what happened in Rambo 3?
No.
He goes out to try to find whoever he was looking for, and the little kid follows him, and he doesn't know he got followed. Right? Come on! Man. Where'd you come from? I followed you. Really?
Yeah.
So, Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars. I was never a Trekkie.
Never a Trekkie.
No, although we watched it all the time. My brother was a Trekkie.
Yes.
So he's 6 years older than I am, so then I had to watch it.
It was something you watched during dinner. Yeah. For me, that's all Star Trek was. I was never really that
I liked it, but it just, give me Star Wars.
But see, here's what I say about Star Wars. The original 4, 5, and 6, the original 3, so much better than the other ones. I mean, even this last one was just...
Dude, okay. Jar Jar Binks,
horrible.
Garbage.
It's a Muppet. It's a Muppet.
And they went away from that because they
Thank God.
Yeah. I don't know. And actually, I've never seen Return of the Jedi. I saw the first one when it came out. I was in LA actually with my for the summer with my uncle, and we went and watched the movie. And that one I liked. And I don't know. I don't like this prequel and all this. It's like Hollywood is...
They're just sucking money.
Hollywood has a ton of opinion on politics and no new ideas.
Right.
You know, it's like, quit worrying about politics and come up with new material. We're remaking old movies and doing it badly.
Yeah, how about that new Ghostbusters, huh? Woo!
Yeah, that was... I don't know who approved that one.
Must have they rebooted Spider-Man 3 different times. In 10 years, Tobey Maguire... And then the last two guys, and don't get me wrong, the latest kid, he's funny, he's good, but you don't need to tell that story 3 different times in 10 years.
Yeah. You got.
And you notice every time Aunt B gets younger. She's in a walker in the first one, and next thing she's the girl from My Cousin Vinny. How does that happen?
Oh my gosh. Then the last one though, what was it? Phantom? No. Okay, so I don't know if you're a comic book buff or not. But
yeah, I am.
You have the dark side of the Black Spider-Man. Remember that?
Yes,
I can't remember his name.
Yes.
The
movie just came out.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good movie. I like it. The actor, I kind of like the actor too.
Yes.
He does a good
job.
Venom, thank you. So that's like...
Tom Hawkins, whatever his name, Tom something.
Tom something. And that one's pretty good. And it's like, so this guy's now, he's a bad guy, but he's a good bad guy.
Right.
Okay, whatever. Whereas in the comic books, he wasn't a good guy.
No.
He was the bad side of
He almost quit the
Spider-Man.
movie for that reason. Tom whatever almost quit the movie because he's supposed to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
But they made him a good bad guy.
Yeah. Well, because you can't have bad guys anymore. And so, but that one's pretty good. But that's just it. We're making movies Batman again and Superman again. You know, although the recent Superman, they hit it out of the park. That guy is like Pierce Brosnan to 007. He's a good Superman.
He's a good Superman.
He's an excellent Superman. They keep toying around with Batman. They can't seem to get somebody. Although I gotta say, Affleck did an okay job. He's not too bad.
I thought he did a better Bruce Wayne than Batman. And that's not against Batman, but he played the Bruce Wayne character. Usually,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Like he had some depth to him.
Yeah. And But this whole thing that Marvel's going over. Okay, Aquaman, redhead. Now, Samoan. Or maybe he's not Samoan. I don't want to offend the Samoans, but he's...
Did you see the movie Aquaman?
No.
It's very good. It's DC.
That's besides the point.
But hold on. I'm not...
Stick to what it is.
No, he's right, but I'm not giving anything away. So turn your head, one person. At the end, he's wearing the same old shit that he's wearing in the comic book.
Oh, right?
Yeah.
The orange and the green? Nice. So, Momoa, is that the guy's name?
Oh, I don't know.
He does a really good job. Like in, what movie is it with this? All of them are in it. Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman.
Justice League.
Justice League. So I have a whole bunch of issues with that. Like him as Aquaman, Flash, they made him look like a wimpy, dorky kid.
Yep.
Wonder Woman, although she does a good job, she's not Wonder Woman. She's cute as all get out, but she's not Wonder Woman.
No,
who should have been Wonder Woman? Okay, look at Lynda Carter.
Right.
70 years old. Still she knocks on my door. She can have a couple of crackers. But
remember the old show? She had the quickest wrist in the world. She had these metal braces, and she stopped every bullet ever made.
Yeah. But voluptuous. Tall. I think she was only like 5'9", though. She wasn't like, she's supposed to be in Amazon, but only 5'9". Which I can see. Me and one of the guys at work got into this debate about it, that she's supposed to be in Amazon. So that's why they got Gadot, I think is her name. And because she's tall, right? But she's certainly not voluptuous. Cute, yes. Good in the role, sure. But that's not who should have been. Who should have been? She doesn't have big blue eyes, you know. And you notice that they all went to like dark hair, dark eyes. They went away from like the white character. Right. Now we got to bring some ethnicity into the Justice League. Oh Jesus, I can't remember her name.
You're Jesus.
I'm Jesus.
That's his real name.
I can't remember anything. Oh Jesus, what the hell is her name? She was in the Earthquake movie with The Rock. Plays the daughter.
Oh yes, that was San Andreas.
San Andreas. Okay, yeah.
Yes. Which we had to watch when you live where we do, because you see the 99 and the whole thing.
Hold on, bear with me. I'm sorry, I haven't had any sleep, and I'm forgetting what I need to remember here. I'll tell you right now. Alexandra Daddario. That
should have been fine.
Is who Wonder Woman should have been. I mean, if you're looking at beauty, everything else, I mean, look at those eyes. And there you go. Look at that. It's even overshot, and all you see is her eyes. And she's got more than just eyes. She definitely is voluptuous and would have been a... Look at... Right there. Is that not...
That's one of them.
Diane Pennington, Princeton?
Yes, Diane, yes.
Right, whatever her name is. Right there. Look at that. That's overshot. Anyway, look her up. Alexandra Daddario. That should have been Wonder Woman. That is Wonder Woman, done. Aquaman, cool, but still not the original Aquaman. Flash, they made him really dorky.
Yes.
A little Jewish kid, right?
Well, what they did was they looked for prototypes. So he was the funny guy. He was sort of like Deadpool. You know, like
they knocked it out of the park.
That is unbelievable. And you know how bad Shazam is going to be? Because they're trying to make Deadpool. That's going to be... First off, we were comic book nerds and geeks, and Shazam stunk back then. You know, I mean...
True story.
Yeah, because who was this guy? And there's the faces of the gods on Mount Olympus, but yet they're in a trailer.
I can't wait till they come out with the Wonder Twins.
Yeah. Activate.
Water. Actually, dude.
Form of a puddle.
They're going to have a different version in California because there's a water shortage. Form of, not water, cardboard water. Oh my gosh. But
somebody scoops them up, puts them in a cup for later.
Right. I disagree with the characters or the actors that they got to play the characters, although they did a really good job. Yes. And the movie's I really like the movie. They did a good job. In the movie, the lines, the movie was written well, and it's comical when it needs to be, not serious when it needs to be. So I think the movie itself is a good movie. I just wish they would have stayed more towards the original characters as were written in the Marvel comics.
Why did so many people cry in this latest Avengers when they died, because you know they're not going to be dead forever.
Who died?
Oh, you had a lot of them died. I can't think of
Captain America, is that the Avengers?
Yes, Captain America, but...
Tony Stark, by the way.
The best,
Robert
Downey.
Robert Downey, good call there.
Great. He is a perfect Tony Stark, and my hope is that they'll keep him around.
Yeah. Well, he's getting old.
Yes, but you still keep him around. Well, that's like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That last movie was not even a superhero movie. It was that good. See that movie. But no, but most of the guys died. The Black Panther died. You'd think the Black Panther's really going to die.
No.
Spider-Man died. People go, Spider-Man's dead. He's not going to be dead. They haven't signed for another movie.
Look, if Steve Austin, the $6 million man, they couldn't kill him back then.
No.
They had the technology.
Right. We can rebuild him. They'd be better than he was.
Dude, a little splicing with the genome of Spider-Man's body, a little bit over here, a little cloning. You got Spider-Man.
The greatest job. There's a gentleman, I think his name is Richard Anderson. They had the Bionic Man, and he reported to this character played by Richard Anderson.
Yep.
And then the Bionic Woman also reported. So this guy was on 2 shows with maybe 5 lines at both shows.
He was like Cliff Clavin in all the cartoons that he did.
Yes.
Same voice, different character.
Just lay down, I'm the same guy. Yep. So, Lindsay Wagner was a perfect Bionic Woman.
She was.
There was even a bionic dog. I mean, there's no need for
They're
this.
running out of stuff.
Yes.
Quit getting plastic surgery, Hollywood. Stay out of politics and make better movies.
Make better movies. Well,
and if you're against guns, by the way, then don't make movies with guns.
Practice what you preach.
Exactly. So you've got
lead by example.
Clooney, the Bourne Identity guy. You know, it's just like, okay, if you're so against the confiscation of guns, then don't make movies with them. Make movies of, I don't know, having picnics in a pasture or something.
Yep. No, that's fine. Do artsy films. We love artsy films. It'd probably be very good. Good Will Hunting, great movie.
Yep.
But don't do any shoot 'em ups because practice what you preach. So,
yeah, like De Niro, he really lost a lot of points. That guy. Let's not get started.
Yes.
Fellow New Yorker.
Yes.
Fellow Italian.
It's just so sad. It's so sad. So.
But anyway, what else to get to know? Question and answer.
Yes. Okay. Excellent.
And then we'll wrap this up because we're running over. Oh shoot, we're over an hour.
I got 1 or 2 others. And this will sound dumb, but it's important on some level. It's Saturday morning. You put your cartoons on. What you go to? Was it a cereal? And if so, what? Give us that whole pattern.
What do you mean? Was it a cereal?
Like, did you do cereal? Did you do eggs? Did you do, Saturday morning, you're not going anywhere, just chilling watching cartoons.
Chorizo.
Nice.
Chorizo and eggs.
Nice. I'm not saying I had a bad childhood, but man, it was a box of cereal and some milk, which I love, by the way, because I kill it. But so you were eating like a king.
Well, so I learned to make it when I was like 10 years old.
Oh, so you made your own?
Well, no, the store made it. I just put it in a pan, added an egg, and mixed
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you prepared your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
It's simple.
Yeah. No, I was just. What was your favorite cartoon as a kid?
Oh, geez, Tom and Jerry, and of course, I mean Saturday morning, right? You had
too much violence.
Yeah, whatever. Oh my gosh, I'd one of the. Say, Tom and Jerry with all the violence. Yeah. Bugs Bunny, because they had the whole run of those, right? All those characters. And then Conjunction Junction, remember that?
What's your function?
That's how I need the preamble.
Rock. Oh, absolutely.
That's what I need to bring back, Schoolhouse Rock. I mean,
that would be great.
Do they still have to do the Constitution in junior high?
I think so.
To graduate 8th grade?
Well, you have to know what you're protesting.
Exactly. And I remember we were taking that class, and everybody's sitting there, okay. Start writing Perfect Union.
So now I don't.
Everybody, the whole class is just humming the song.
I'm going to blow your mind, and maybe
just my mind.
Maybe yes. It's a kid show, kids. So, and maybe we go to our Answer Man Google for this. But my mind was shattered a year ago because I love cartoons, but somebody told me that a coyote is actually faster than a roadrunner. That blows the whole cartoon. There's no need to go to Acme and buy that whole That magic hole was paint.
But now you're putting Acme out of business.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't. That's like the guy. No. That's no different than the guy taking a dive,
right,
in his career, so that he can be better later. That's what's happening here. He wanted Acme to continue. It's an American company, so he had to, go with the.
I'm not going to say you. I'm not going to say me. I'm not going to say the hockey guru. Let's talk about a guy.
Okay.
All right. And you've been.
We'll call him Bob.
We'll call him Bob. So Bob or Stacy, they've been.
There's a guy named Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy Keach.
Well, I have a friend named Tracy.
Well, there you go.
All right, moving on.
Yeah. So. And you've been a boxer. You love boxing. Grew up around boxing. Let's say MMA now, to be more topical.
Okay.
And somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, listen, we're not going to tell you to take a dive. But if it's not going your way, you decide to tap out, we'll make it up to you down the road. And we'll make sure that you get to play Vegas in a year." You going to say no to that? Your friend going to say no to that? You think?
Well, depends on principles, right?
You can't put your lights on. You know what I mean? You have trouble making rent. You see what I'm getting at?
Once again, it depends. I mean, are you a religious man? Are you not a religious man? Are you going to have to do how many Hail Marys to forgive that, right?
Right. But that's what I'm trying to say. There's some answers that are a lot easier than others.
Well, just, okay.
In the 50s, you had no choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, true. Well, it's just like with Pete Rose. I was online the other day, and they were going back and forth. He should be in, he should not be in issue. He gambled. It's against everything, especially after the 40...
In the 20s. With
the 20s, yeah. And I'm of the opinion that he should be allowed in. But this guy actually brought up a very good point. So my point of contention was he only bet for the Reds. He didn't bet against them, right? So it's not like
I know where your friend's going, and I agree with your friend.
It's not like he bet against them and he threw the game. And what this one guy puts on there, I'm like, so I don't see why that's an issue. He puts on, no. He goes, think about it. This guy was a degenerate gambler. He bet on everything. No,
that's right.
No, matches. He bet on every game. He goes, so if you're the bookie, and Pete Rose is betting on every game, right? And then he comes in on one game and he doesn't bet. He's only bet when he's going to win. So what do you think that one game's going to do? They're going to lose.
Correct.
Right? He goes, he's not throwing it, he's not betting against it, but people are sure going to know. The bookies are sure going to know this. They're going to notice that pattern. And so that's a fix. And I was like, yeesh, that's a valid point that I hadn't thought of.
Also, let's look at the Bantam team, just to use names, okay? And let's say they were betting on those games. A coach, say Coach Cleats, just to make up a name, from Archie. And so now he is triple shifting Donovan. He's triple shifting Donovan in that game. To win that game, he's sacrificing the next game in some ways. In baseball, baseball, you're blowing that pitcher's arm out. He can't pitch the next game.
Sure he can.
No, but theoretically, if you have a guy, and that's what a couple of baseball players said, they knew something was funny, because they would have a guy, pick a reliever, it doesn't matter who it is, who usually pitches 1 inning, and some games he'd have him pitching 3 innings. What's going on here? And now he's not available in the next game.
Right.
So why is he using him 3 games on a Thursday, when he has a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series? Now he can't use him for
because damn it, he's a professional player.
But
you asked Nolan Ryan.
I agree with you about that, 100%. 100%.
Nolan Ryan has how many complete games? And he even said today's players are a bunch of wusses, to use a child-friendly term.
Right.
Back then, they pitched whole games. Their reliever came in and pitched the last 2 innings because the guy's arm was falling off. And nowadays, he said that's why there's so many injuries, because these guys are not conditioned to pitch the whole game.
He's right.
They throw their ass off for 1 or 2 innings. He goes, what kind of a pitcher is that?
And more. It's usually burnout. And you're going to have a shorter career.
One trick pony.
Yep.
Like, look at what's the kid with the long hair for San Francisco? I don't.
Yeah, the freak, Lincecum.
Lincecum. Where is he now? How long did he play? He wasn't around for very long.
He used to text us. He used to follow us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Sorry, dude, but you're not around.
Right.
And he looked like he was like 15 too. That
yes.
kid. But he could throw the ball.
He couldn't buy a pack of cigarettes.
Exactly. But he's not around much either. You know, these guys are just like, their careers are so short because of that reason. It's like, learn to throw the ball, get proper mechanics, like Nolan Ryan says, and pitch the entire game.
Now, Nolan Ryan and Tom Seaver were on the same team, which is just scary. 1969.
Nobody's hitting that ball.
No, nobody. And that could be off by 1 or 2 games. We could look it up. 1969, complete games, Tom Seaver, 12. No, wait. He had 12 shutouts. Which are complete games people don't know.
And here when Clemens was batting, oh, here's a K. Here's another K. Oh, yeah, 12 Ks in a game.
Yep.
Batting power, 15%.
All right, we're going to wrap up soon. What are we going here?
Oh, somebody's saying, is it happening more now?
Oh, no, that's the stuff we saw before.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, wrap it up, big guy.
Wrap it up. So what are we wrapping up? We went over several things today. So let us know in the comments below, right?
Yep.
Down here in this area. What you think about a couple of things. Should there be an asterisk by some of these records, right?
Which I'm okay with.
The hydrophobic thing for swimming and
just understand.
I think they outlawed it now, though, didn't they?
I think they did.
So if they outlawed it, why is he still in the record books?
Because it was legal at the time. And I get that, and that's why I also don't think that the asterisk is a negative thing. It's an explanation.
Exactly, especially if it's not illegal.
Right. It's just an explanation.
So let us know what you think about the steroid league for both football and for can you imagine in football already they're having a problem with CTE and actually I was watching a thing today where they're saying that a lot of college ball and all that they're more and more people that aren't letting their kids play football.
No, that's absolutely true.
That absolutely and it's funny because they interviewed a bunch of football players that play and they're on the boosters for that college and like, is your kid play football? He's, no.
Well, I'll give you a great example. You and I both know a pro football player in the area, and I won't say his name because we didn't ask. You know who I'm talking about. His son plays basketball. For that reason. Yeah. For that reason.
Yeah. Well, a lot of hockey players too. They don't want the kids, especially the fighters. They're like, no, go baseball. They'll have a longer career. Well, I don't know. Hockey, you can have a very long career too. But so let us know. What do you think about having steroid leagues for baseball, football? Although football, I think is going to be a stretch, especially since everybody's already touchy with the CTE, which they should be. But for baseball, they make such a big ordeal about steroids in baseball. What do you guys think?
What do you think about trading a local kid?
Should you trade the local hockey player or the local baseball player, soccer player? Because they traded local boy, didn't they trade him? The Foxes traded.
Yes, and another one went to Europe.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? Let us know that. 2 questions, right? Should we trade the local boy? And should we go with the steroid league? And would you watch a steroid league for baseball?
And who would be your backup Wonder Woman if it's not Gal Gadot?
Yes, look up Alexandra Daddario and let us know. Would she make a better Wonder Woman than Gal Gadot or not? And we'll leave the comments and then we'll review those at the next sitting.
Absolutely.
So all right, thanks for watching.
Take care.
Uncle Tony.
It's Darren Redmond for our weekly show, Tony and Darren, on a Wednesday.
There you go. See you next week.